I mean, it's amazing. Every time we do an event, I have somebody coming up and said, I've got this new product, I got this new item, I got this new software, I've got this new this. Everybody is looking to, I don't know how many people on LinkedIn and social media said, I've got this new innovation, new idea for pickleball. How many times have you heard that, right? Well, we've got it, but you can have an idea, but you got to implement it. Then you got to bring it out, then you got to beta test it, then you got to see if it works. And we've got people here that have done all those steps, and it's worked. And they're in business, and it's exciting in what they're doing. So I'm going to introduce each one of our panelists and let them talk a little bit about, a few minutes about what you do, how you got into pickleball, and the product that you came up with, and how you woke up in the middle of the night and came out with your product. So we'll start first with the Ralle pickleball ball machine, who's sponsoring our breakfast tomorrow. They're going to be shooting balls for breakfast. Eric Fransen, followed by Dave Milo, John Sperling, and Louise Fays. Is Fays? Fays. Fays. Good. Thank you. Okay, let's start off with Eric.
Thank you for staying, everybody, as I know it's late in the afternoon. So I started playing pickleball 2 years ago. My neighbor asked me to join him on the tennis courts, and we did the whole line thing that, you know, with cones and whatnot, and we played with tennis nets for the first 6 months. And about a year ago, I took a training, and the coach said, if you want to be good at pickleball, go up there and use that ball machine. And I never knew what a ball machine was. And no joke, this is 14 months ago. I never played tennis. I went up there the next week, and I played with one of our competitors' machines. And my first thought was, this is great. I worked on my backhand, my TUI, did about 300 shots in an hour, and improved a lot in that hour. And I thought, I have a marketing background, and I thought, you know what, I think I can do this. I think we can build a better pickleball machine. And we launched it March 1st. And we've been, every shipment we get in, we sell out. So I'm really excited about our future. But Ralle pickleball machine, and I look forward to sharing more.
Dave Milo. Dave, talk about, now you're involved not only with the Komodo ball, the BIOBALL, which is the exciting new, but you've got the paddles, you work a lot with the youth, and you got a great daughter out there. I think you've been playing all day probably, right? Yeah. She's out there, but Dave Milo, the founder of Komodo, there she is right there, right? Did you win some pickleball matches today? Yeah, I think so. You probably beat up all those guys, right?
She's actually going to hand out everybody a BIOBALL so that everybody can take it home and test it.
Hey, there we go. We've been playing with those things. They're great. They last longer than most.
Oh yeah, you know, and that's the one great thing. But thanks everybody again for staying for the best for last, I would say.
Well, we like good anchors. You know, we need a good anchor.
Thank you. I'm Dave Milo, founder of Komodo Pickleball. I founded Komodo Pickleball 3 years ago, ex-tennis player. We started out as Komodo Tennis, and we made tennis rackets and tennis strings. And being an entrepreneur and a business guy, tennis wasn't really going anywhere. And this crazy game called pickleball, everybody was transforming from, and I fell into the trap as well. So then the story, everybody knows how that goes. But being someone that's an innovator, you know, I saw that there was a problem and there was a need. And pickleballs, I mean, we go through so many pickleballs a year that I wanted to know why, how, where they go, what was done. And with all the research that I had found, you know, last year alone we went through over 500 million pickleballs, and that equates to 77 million pounds of plastic. And I decided to look into it. We made a pickleball, and it was, you know, the equivalent of a Franklin. It was a good ball. John loves and still uses it for teaching, but it wasn't serving the world. It wasn't serving what was passionate to me and helping things out. And so I started looking into biodegradation and found a company that was actually working with tennis balls and looking at doing biodegradable tennis balls. And we formulated this ball. It's taken several steps to finally get it what it was, but you know, it didn't stop there, because you know, talking with people, some people really don't care about biodegradable. Some people don't care about the earth. Some people don't. You talk to someone from Las Vegas and it's like, you know how much trash we throw in the garbage, and you know how many plastic bottles we go through? We don't care. How does it play? And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good question. So we went back to the drawing board and we decided to make this ball the best ball possible. And after several testing, John did a lot of our testing here in Florida because we wanted to have a ball that lasted in the heat. We wanted a ball that lasted in the cold. We wanted the moisture, lots of different things. And we decided to really bring an additive in this game that this ball lasts, and I'm going to say 5 times longer than anybody else's ball on the market. John has done some testing with some very high-level players, and 76 games on one pickleball? 76 games. Now, we don't know how many hits were in that game. It could be 10,000 hits with the ball. I don't know. But we wanted to make something not just good for the planet, but we wanted to make something that's great for the players, great for the clubs, great for, the guys that are putting out ball machines, that these balls go through vigorous, amounts of damage to them. How do we make this done? And we came out with the BIOBALL. And it's the world's first biodegradable, tournament-approved pickleball. And we have a patent pending on it that we acquired. And we're going to hold strong to all the big boys. And, I'm a small company out of Grand Junction, Colorado. I'm self-funded right now. We're looking for investors, but we're going against the top guys. We have a product and we have something that is really going to do good for the planet. We're launching in Europe right now in 22 countries, Australia and New Zealand next week. We're really going to take the world by force, and we're doing it because we want to help. We want to give back. That's my dream. I mean, my daughter's the future, and these kids are the future. And, we want this game to last for millenniums. And you know what? If we keep going the way we're doing with these pickleballs, the landfills are going to be full, and the landfills are going to be overloaded with pickleballs alone. They're already full with water bottles, let alone pickleballs, and I don't want that to be the problem. We also went back to the drawing board and said, okay, so now that we've got this biodegradable ball, how do we make it better for the landfills? Well, actually, we have found out in the last 3 months that the enzymes in the landfills actually love the ball. And they're eating them up faster than we expected, and they're actually producing more enzymes in the landfills and making the landfills grow exponentially, which is huge. And this is a new concept that we just found out, so we're really pleased with that. And I hope all you guys try it and enjoy it as much as the players do. We want to be in the big boy games and whatnot, but unfortunately I'm not a pay to play kind of guy, and we're going to earn our stripes to get there, and just to have all the players that love it get out there and do it. But I thank you guys for your time, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free.
Let's talk to John next. John, the tester, one of the top pickleball players in the MPL, and I've known John a long time. Just great to watch him play the sport, and his finesse, and his. We just had a match last weekend down at Sawgrass, and some good events and good competition. I've seen him at pretty much every one of my tournaments over the years, and just a great supporter of the game, great technician, and just. I know if he's standing behind a certain product, he believes in it, right, John?
Absolutely. My name is John Sperling. I'm from the Villages in Florida. I don't know how to say less than Dave over there. Man, save some for your talk. You got a talk to do still. I've been around the game since 2017. I'm a former tennis player. Came to the game of pickleball in about 2017, 2018. So I've seen a lot of the changes and a lot of the evolution of pickleball. And as Carl said, for me, Dave and I had this conversation this morning. A lot of people come up to you with contracts and say, hey, what about this product? You like it? And you just sign the contract, and yeah, sure, they take the money, but they don't have the heart or they don't believe in the product. I am not one of those guys. When I went with Komodo, I left a larger company to go with a smaller company because I believed in the product that he had, and our morals and our ethics lined up together. So it's been a great journey so far, and I'm looking forward to more and new innovative things that as we continue down this journey in the pickleball world.
Great, John. Louise, Fays, now we're talking to AI is the big topic. That's the buzzword in the world, right? Everything's AI right now. So AI has invaded pickleball. It's all around pickleball, and we met Louise at Racket X, I think, and this is where we first talked, and she's got an innovation using AI, which is pretty cool. So I'll let you talk about how you're using AI and jumping into the pickleball space.
Great, thank you. Hi, I'm Louise Fays. I'm a founder of a company called Plan2Play, and I'm not an ex or former tennis player. Actually, I was introduced to pickleball, and the first time I played, I actually ruptured my Achilles. Hopefully that's not a problem for anybody. But yeah, I'm actually I'm hugely into software, love it, and so we're an actual AI online booking platform, and we service organizations like large facilities, HOAs, or small pickleball facilities, larger pickleball facilities, kind of like across the board. And what we noticed is that there's a huge hole where, you guys all have all these different platforms that you're using, and they're not all integrated into one. So we went out and we aimed over the last several years to create that one platform. However, I think there's still an issue out there, and what we found is that AI can help solve that. So with a lot of our customers, we've done a huge amount of doing integrations for them, providing, like if you have a door lock system that you want, which a lot of pickleball facilities that are going unmanned do, we can help you integrate that. So that's kind of our company's overall mission. But I'm going to tell a couple of different stories because I think I just want to introduce how AI can really help. So if you imagine if you're running a pickleball facility and you have front desk staff, right? That staff member could be coming in the morning. They've got someone, two people at the desk. They're at them about where, which court am I on? Maybe they even have a new pro that's starting that day that hasn't been familiarized with the booking platform or the software platform they're using, right? And the phone rings, right? Ring, ring, and no one's answering that phone. Well, that phone call was a booking for 4 people coming in, and they went elsewhere. So you have lost revenue, right? With voice AI, we have the ability now for you to have 24/7 access to these voice agents that can answer questions about the facility. They can make bookings for people. We also have agents in the background that can do things with email and things like that. So that's one way that we can really help. The other thing that I see kind of out in the industry is with your members, right? How many people out here have downloaded an app, and how many, does everyone have more than one? I'll say it that way. Yeah, exactly. And you get on these apps, and like every single booking platform or every single app, you have this learning curve. And especially with pickleball, where your demographic might be a little bit older, right? You have a learning curve for them figuring out how to even book a court. Well, AI is another area that can really help. I mean, if you imagine, and this is me and my vision, we'll see where we are in another couple of years, I think it's coming, where you don't necessarily have an app that you're downloading that you have to learn to navigate. It's a conversation. I mean, you and I, whenever I go on any app, I know what I want to accomplish. So if you could just ask the question and accomplish that, right? You just say, hey, I want to book a court tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Is there anything available? Great. The other thing you might be able to do is organize something with your friends. I mean, we're at the point now where if everyone's calendars are available and that agent can even go ask, maybe they're not wanting to share that information, it could still go ask, like, here are my friends, go see if we can organize a group for me and then book something. So we have that capability as well. Then I also, if you like imagine you've got a pro out there, now the pros are wonderful, but they are not always that organized. So you might have someone who runs up to Tom, we'll call him, and says, hey, can you book me a court, can you book me a lesson? Like next Tuesday I want a lesson with you, right? Well, he may forget. But if he has something on his phone where he can just pick it up and say, please book a court for Sally next Tuesday with me, then it's most likely going to get done. And we have that capability as well. So overall, I mean, just AI in general, to me, it's phenomenal what's possible. We also have like, what's the saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, we've also got what happens on the court shouldn't stay on the court. So what do you know about your court usage? What do you know about who's your pro with the most bookings? You know, can I, like if I have open slots out there, quickly get that information available for people to increase my utilization? Again, that's everything that's possible with AI. So we're super excited about where the industry's heading, and if anybody out there has any questions about AI, I'm happy to answer what I know. We have some fun things at our booth. We actually, I don't know if anyone's heard of VIO, but it's a new software that everyone's kind of talking about. You'll see a lot of social media out there with these crazy things going on. You're like, is that real or not? But we have some dogs that are playing pickleball out on our monitor. So it's amazing what's possible.
And my dog's a good pickleball player too, so that's, well, can I get a court for my dog to line up for next week? Well, great introduction. I mean, some great new products and innovations out there. Let's talk about the entry into the pickleball space. I mean, obviously, down there that you see the buzz going on down there with so many new companies with different products and so forth. There's obviously a lot of competition right now in the balls, the paddles, software, reservation systems, ball machines. So what are you doing right now to get your ball machine? Why is it different than the Lobsters or all the other ball machines out there? And why would I want to buy your ball machine? Give me a sales pitch.
Yeah, so the problem that we wanted to solve is we wanted to really own technology, and at a start, that's for us a mobile app that people can use the ball machine very easily through their app, and an app that's easy to use. And number two, it's portability. We didn't want to have a 50-pound ball machine. Our ball machine is 35 pounds. It has a very small footprint. We use the external battery, so when you want to plug in your ball machine, you don't need to drag it to the outlet. You just unplug the battery and carry the battery to the outlet. And number three, our ball hopper is 85 balls. We're not trying to be the biggest ball hopper at 150. When we work with our pros in Charlotte, we do about 30 shots, and then we pause the machine. The pro wants to kind of think about what he just did, catch his breath, and then we start up again. So we believe that 85 is a great number, and the key is portability. So somebody, whether they're home, can put it in the back of their car or their trunk, or a club can easily move the ball machine around to the various courts. So that's, for us, that's where we want to win.
Well, I know ball machines are important to teaching aspect of it, and it's if you go out there and just walk out every morning and play, I think John will tell you how many hours you need to spend with a ball machine or drilling, because drilling is where you're going to become serious about the game, because you're not going to just learn to play and pick up games every morning. You need to drill, and a good way to drill, if you don't have a partner or a coach, is get that ball machine and just go out there about 6 in the morning before anybody comes out in the court and drill, baby, drill. I heard somebody say that before, drill, baby, drill. It was.
Just one more thing. One thing we didn't expect is our ball machines in a number of clubs, and what the teaching pros are now doing, instead of hitting just ball after ball to their student, the ball machine's doing some of the work, and they're standing next to the student with the mobile app, and they can just pause the ball machine when they see something they want to teach on, and then in real time they can speed up, slow down, they can raise the ball, they can move it left or right, and do that on the fly. So from a teaching standpoint or coaching standpoint, it's been really great for the clubs.
Great. And Dave, John, I mean, I know how particular pros are with balls. I mean, I know Murch or other guys, before they play any match, they're throwing the balls up in the air, and I don't know what they're seeing necessarily, but they're not, I don't like that one. Throw that out, throw that away. What are you guys looking at when you're looking at the ball to make sure it's the right ball you want to play with?
So a lot of it is, are they out of round? A lot of the balls go out of round very quickly after 1 or 2 hits, after you warm up. The ref gives you a couple of choices of balls, and mostly you're spinning it to see if it stays in its shape. The great thing about the Komodo balls, we found it very rarely, if ever, goes out of round. So it's been one of those blessings. Not only did it have the durability, but we found it never went out of round when we were playing with it. So it was good for the pros that didn't have to change so often.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, Dave, and what about the biggest thing too, I think, with balls is the different climates. whether you're up north or you're out west in the dry heat, you're in Florida. I mean, how does the ball function in the different elements? Because every ball is different, but the BIOBALL in particular, how do you adjust to that, with a ball?
Well, even the BIOBALL is going to break. I mean, it's plastic. I mean, they're until they come up with a chemical that they can put in there that can handle every various range of climate and control, it's not going to happen. But we have found a formula, and we've worked with our manufacturers who have been in this game for a long time. And we took some tennis ball stuff, we took some racquetball stuff, we took some technologies from lots of different areas that we could use in the ball for the different climates. So I live in Colorado, and our biggest thing is the winter times. And it's sunny and cold outside, but I mean, no one's inside playing unless it's like 10 below zero. If it's 10 degrees outside in the sunshine and people are out playing pickleball. So we had to figure out a way to keep these balls from doing this, which we did. They don't last as long as we would like them to, but they last longer than industry standard other balls. But we also wanted a lot of this playing is in Arizona, Florida, in these really warmer climates, and that's what we really focused on the most, especially with John and what John was doing up in the villages, and so there was a lot of technology that went into and a lot of testing and R&D to do this, to come up with a perfect ball. And we're really blessed to be able to have this type of technology, and we're working on even another rendition of this ball for even colder climate, and some other kind of different technologies with cryogenics and things like that we can look at, maybe possibly making even last longer in colder temperatures.
Now, is there an indoor ball difference versus outdoor ball, or is one ball all surfaces?
It's one ball, all surfaces except gym floors. I mean, you're not going to be able to play with an outdoor ball on a gym floor, but those are dying very quickly,
Right.
And so we didn't want to spend the extra money to come out with two various types of balls.
Now, you also have paddles.
Yes, sir.
You also have other products in there. Just talk about, it's not the new product. You've been out for a while with your paddles. How are the paddles doing? And you've come out with some new ones recently.
Yeah. The paddles are great. Technology is ever changing in the paddle world, as we all know. They're getting faster, poppier, illegaler.
Illegaler.
And whatnot. We are launching our new paddle in 2 weeks, called the Tenet, and it's going to be giving the big boys a run for their money, big time. John has been one of my right-hand mans on prototyping and testing and developing, and we came up with it, and it's called the Tenet. And something that's really near and dear to my heart too is I'm a very faith-based person, and our family's very faith-based, and all of our paddle, sure honey, bring it up here. All of our paddle model numbers are scripture, and this paddle here, this is the Tenet. This paddle is really near and dear to me. One is because it's going to be our best paddle that we've come up with yet, but the model number is Romans 12:2, and it's do not conform to what is going on right now in our society, in our world. And my daughter, at 11 years old, this is her favorite scripture, and so we wanted to put it on there for her. But I know there's not a lot of different kind of people out there that are faith-based or not faith-based, and my board really fought me hard on this, about talking about the Lord and doing stuff like this. But I told them I don't care. If it wasn't for our Lord and Savior, we wouldn't all be here. So if you're not a believer and you play pickleball, you're going to be a believer because the Lord's going to be in your hand. That's been my motto, and John laughs with me, and I know Carl, that's a near and dear thing to you guys too. But technology is changing, guys, and paddles are getting hotter and getting more illegal. And I have a hard time talking about paddles because I don't believe in what a lot of the other big boys are doing, and I just want to stay true to my way, and making something that's really great for our players and for people, and not making it dangerous. I got an 11-year-old that's playing tournaments, and 90% of the time she's playing against grown adults that can hit the ball 10 times as hard as her. And I just don't think that the mods and the big big paddles should be good, but she finally has now a paddle that she can fight back with. So that's
Well, we're going to be talking more tomorrow about the battle of the paddles with a couple different paddle manufacturers, and there is a big paddle discrepancy out there in regards to the standards and the governance and the compliancy with different tours, different paddles, and that's one of the biggest issues going on. And Carl Schmitz was going to be here, but unfortunately had COVID, got COVID last night, and told me this morning couldn't be here. But we got a representative from USA Pickleball that will be on that panel tomorrow, who's the new VP of Compliance and Technology. So trying to get on the schedule, because I know I've played against people. Said, "Oh, it's legal." I said, "No, it's not legal." I said, you go out there and play. Do you want to play with a paddle that somebody's going to just, basically just plow it right through you? And it's not a fair. I think they want a fair playing field. I think the pros want a fair playing field. The pros, I mean, here certain paddles they play against, I see the pros walk off and says, that's ridiculous. That's like coming off that paddle 10 times faster than it should be. You can't. I don't care how good you are, right, John? I mean, if that certain paddles, it's just not a level playing field. And I know you guys go back and forth all the time with wanting that level playing field. What are you looking for in a paddle yourself?
Well, I thought it was kind of funny this year at Nationals. Usually it's the old senior pros like myself complaining about the fast paddles. But I heard something really more than I've ever heard before, and it was the young kids complaining about the paddles. And I'd say, hey, how'd you go out there today? And they say, well, I didn't get beat by the player, I got beat by the paddle. And that should tell us something where we're going with our game. Dave says illegal, allegedly, by the way, allegedly illegal. But I'd say I think we push the limits too far sometimes, and we are pushing it more and more and bordering up onto what we should be accepting and what we shouldn't be. But for me, when you start talking about a paddle, the game is going faster and faster and growing exponentially. The problem is the players who are playing it are still at an older age level. And so when you have somebody who is 22 and has a paddle in their hand that is as hot or as good as some of these paddles is great, but you have people playing against somebody who's maybe 60 plus, maybe doesn't have quite listen, my reactions aren't as good as they were when I was 25 or when I first started pickleball. And the ball's coming on faster, and you can't see it, you can't react to it. So there are some things we have to think about as we grow the game. Are we growing the game for the good, or are we growing the game just because we want to make it bigger and faster? So I think there's a double-edged sword as you do that. As much as I think the quiet paddles are good, I think the quiet paddles you hear in the NPL, there's a couple players who play with them, they're silent, and you can't get a read on what you're seeing coming at you. So it's different, I don't know where you draw the line, but I know people who use the owl that are playing against people who use the owl. They say, I didn't hear the ball come off the paddle, so I can't adjust to the sound, and they get hit more. So yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in the game right now, and I think having one standard would be fantastic. Having multiple organizations who fight each other, and then we're fighting standards. What's legal here is not legal here. I live in the Villages, and there's 17 different rules because of where you play. And you can't play here, you can't play there because of this paddle. And it starts to become too much. And and I know consumers kind of are wondering what's good, what's bad. Is my paddle going to be legal? Is my paddle not legal? So yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about that today in regard for the sport to grow and to get into the Olympics and to be one standardized rules, one standardized equipment. That's all got to come together, because you can't have 5 different variations of whether it's the equipment or whether it's the rules in order to grow the sport worldwide and for the Olympics to accept it. And that's one thing we talked a lot about earlier today. So Louise, talk about, with the AI, how's the reception been down on the expo floor so far? Because it looked like you had a good buzz at Racket X when we saw you there with, you had some of your AI people. They look as real as you sitting there. You're talking to me back and forth, carrying on a conversation, so it gets pretty scary sometimes. But wait, that's a real person or not a real person? But but it can do a lot of the work. Sure, if you have a club especially, it's going to save a lot of time, effort, and labor, right, for a club indoor facility or the reservation system.
Most definitely. And I don't know how many people know this. I just do because again, tech geek. But as far as what you're saying, like, is it real or not? I mean, I have an avatar of myself, which I have not used, but I have tried making an avatar, a video avatar. And it actually, I can speak in every language you can possibly imagine. and just seeing it sometimes is scary enough for me. I like to keep that one under lock and key, but yeah, that's, it's definitely interesting. Reception for AI, it's kind of interesting, actually. I think people are really intimidated still by it. I love to be immersed. I mean, I could also be intimidated by it. I think there's a lot of questions probably in people's minds about where AI is headed in general. And I have the same questions, and I've just chosen to sort of stand in the middle of it and embrace it and see what's possible with it. I mean, as far as what we can do actually, I was listening to you even, you guys talking about the paddles and the issues there. I love to solve problems. And I was thinking, like, how do you guys tell what kind of paddle somebody has? Is there some way that you would use some, technology to know if somebody has a paddle that's illegal or not? Was another thought that went through my head. Anyway, I thought interesting area there. But for me and how we're different, I would say from any other vendor out there, again, AI is going to help us, is just that we can help people solve problems. So if you are on multiple platforms and you want to be on one where you have one place to go, we now have the ability to service you. I have a large, my background's in software and has been since I was really little, since I was about 13. And that's, for me, is what is like really, really exciting, is that we can very quickly provide, if you had a certain feature you wanted, like we just put in like a door lock system, we integrated a door lock system that somebody wanted into our platform, we can do that. We eat our own dog food. So like, let's say, I'm sure many of you have lots of emails that come into your email box. And what we're handing out to some of our organizations is the ability, and I think I mentioned this before, for those emails to get answered right away by an agent. You can still look over the email before it goes. It can go in draft format. But I would say, from that perspective, that's what I'm super excited about.
You didn't design the one that's on FedEx that I went through 100 times yesterday, and I couldn't get a hold of a live person to save my life. I tried every way possible, and they kept answering my questions, but I don't want you to answer questions. I want to talk to somebody.
There are hallucinations. I think I heard that word earlier. Yes, AI has hallucinations where they call, I don't know if you guys have heard that term, they totally go off the rails and will do their own thing. But yeah, our agents, we always make sure they can transfer to a live person.
Oh, good. Thank God.
I have a client who takes a group lesson every week, and she mics me up. They do their 2-hour lesson. She downloads it in the chat GPT, and it produces the lesson format, and then it produces quizzes. So they do quizzes based on my lesson. I said, you have to clean up my language a little bit sometimes. However, I think it's an amazing thing, and I would have never thought of that. But she mics me up every time, and so she uses AI for something of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally where it's going. And I think one of the challenges that's going to happen, I think, in a not too far future, is there's so much content. So if you imagine, like, every part of our lives we're now recording, and that information can now be put out there. Like, I always like to equate it, like, you open this brand new pickleball facility and you have, information, maybe documents or content, right? And it's all current. But what happens to it in 5 years? Like, what information is that agent feeding off of? So that's going to be the most interesting part. But yeah, I love it. I don't know how many of you guys, is everyone in here used ChatGPT, or have you used it before? Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, I highly recommend doing just what you described and trying that out if you guys have a facility or you're teaching.
Yeah, excellent. Do we have some questions for any of our panelists about any specific categories in regards to paddles, ball machines, AI?
How does the BIOBALL compare to Franklin in price, buying in large quantities?
Okay, in case everybody hear that, you guys hear the question? How does the BIOBALL compare to Franklin and others in price and large quantities? I mean, maybe you can go through your sales pitch here on how to get your balls into the clubs.
We're higher than Franklin. Franklin mass produces millions of balls at a time, so they get it at a lot cheaper price. But the quality is what you're paying for. So if you're paying $1 a ball for, say, and it only lasts you 5 games, and you spend $2 a ball for me, and you're getting 30 to 50 to 70 games, I'm cheaper in the long run. So ultimately, I want to say I'm cheaper in the long run, but the initial investment, I'm going to be higher.
Yeah, next.
No.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, question for Eric. You said you launched on March 1st. So how many years or months in development were you prior to that?
About a year. Not even a year, actually. It was about 10 months. So it was very quick. I think my digital marketing background helped a ton. And also I have had some experience on importing before in another industry in an earlier career. So that helped me quite a bit. Thanks.
And you have ball machines downstairs? Do you have a booth downstairs?
Yeah, we have a booth downstairs. We have 2 ball machines. And then tomorrow morning we'll have them up here as well for the breakfast.
Great. That'd be awesome. Dave, I want to talk to you about something else in regards to your dedication and support of not only your daughter, but the youth movement. We talked about the importance of the next generation for us to keep moving on and moving towards the Olympics and getting the sport to the level, and that's what the IOC is looking for, is they're looking for the whole generational. They're trying to, that's why they had breakdancing in there. That's why they're bringing other sports in. They want the youth involved in the amateur sports. So this is a big component for us to grow the sport, and you're doing a great job doing that. Talk about your movement with the youth, and we try to put a youth tournament together. I've tried it several times. I can't get enough juniors to sign up. So that's, I keep wanting to do it, and I don't get the sign-ups. So I'm not sure. I know they're playing, and they're playing in different places, but just like your daughter, they're playing against adults. You can't get enough one age group to really put on some good events. So I know it's growing, and at certain pockets, I know your area, you've got a good group, and we've got several groups in this area, but we tried hard to get enough juniors for this event here, and the junior tournament, I just couldn't get enough to participate. So tell me your secret of how we're going to grow the next generation and get them out there, because I know they love to play when they're out there.
Well, thank you for the question. That's a near and dear thing to my heart, is the kids. And we started a nonprofit called Little Dragons. And, we want to be able to offer any child to be able to play pickleball even if they can't afford it. We started out with 13 young adults and children, and we're up to 85 right now, and we have only 150,000 people in our city, 5 cities around, and our population is growing because, there's a lot of single moms out there and single dads that have several children, and we can't afford pickleball, we got football, basketball, baseball, and so we're offering scholarships, and we're doing everything we can. We do 6-week programs, and we're just doing everything that we're getting into the schools. 2 of my coaches are just retired school teachers, and they're going to the districts and saying, look, pickleball's growing. These kids, we want to implement them and get them in here at a young age and get them playing a different sport. And we found also there's a lot of children out there with different ailments, and we have a couple of deaf kids that are in our academy, and they got razzed at football, they got razzed at hockey because they couldn't hear and they couldn't play, and they just didn't want to play, and so they came out and played pickleball. The coach has a microphone that they wear, and they go right to their hearing aids, and all of our kids group together as a family. And if you make this like a family orientated investment for these kids, they love it more, and then they become a tight network. We have my daughter, and I have 4 other young kids that are traveling now, and they're going to tournaments all over, and we pay for that. You know, we pay for their entries, we pay for their hotels. You know, we help their families out if they can't travel. You know, we're in the process of buying a 15-person van so we could take all these kids and go to different events. You know, we're just trying to pour into these kids as best as we can, and it seems that, you know, everybody does a pretty good job, but they're not quite doing enough, because a lot of it's driven by dollars, you know, and they can't charge the prices that they do for the kids as they do for pro players or for adults, you know. And so when you're doing a tournament, you know, people are looking at dollars. They're not looking at really what are we going to get out of this. And so these junior tournaments that we're finding, they are starting to get, but they're going to the big cities. So, you know, a lot of these smaller town families and what have to travel all the way to the big city, you know. And so that's why we're trying to do and implement Little Dragons in all these small cities and incorporate that to where we can have it to where we raise money for these kids, and we can help these families get these kids into it, because they're our future, and without them, this sport's going to die.
No, absolutely. You're right on with that. And we've seen travel sports. My kids all play travel sports, different elements, and it's the same thing. You just to get the travel, because they can't do it on their own. They have to have their parents involved, and if the parents can't travel, then they're sort of stuck. So that's the type of groups that I think that can help grow the sport. What you're doing, I applaud you for that. It's a
Well,
great
you know,
mission.
my daughter was playing soccer and pickleball. That hurt my pocketbook really a lot. But we were traveling over to Denver, which is a 5-hour drive for us, for 2 soccer games. And, you know, it's $1,000 weekend for 2 soccer games, you know. And then she'd come back and then, boom, we got pickleball that night, Sunday night, and then Monday too, you know. And it was all this stuff for these kids. But financially, it's hard. I mean, even for people that have money, it's still hard to do for these kids. And then you add 2, 3, 4 kids in a family, you know, you're spending $15,000 a month just on sports, you know, and it's really hard. So if we can build and all get together and get these corporations to help, you know, nonprofits and ways to give back to these kids, I think that's how we're going to get them in there faster.
What's your daughter's name?
Avery.
Erie?
Avery. Yep.
Avery?
Like Avery, but Avery.
Avery, come here a second. I want to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah. Youth.
She's at. All right, soccer or pickleball? If you had a choice, where are you going?
Pickleball.
Oh, right answer.
She just went. She just quit soccer.
I just quit soccer this season.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Well, I don't want to say it's awesome, because it's good that your activity in other sports, but there was another young lady that played soccer. You know her name?
Annalie Waters.
Yeah, I think you know. She's doing pretty good in pickleball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like her game?
Uh-huh.
That's last summer with Annalie?
Last summer, in Colorado, they did this tournament called Pickle and Pucks, where a bunch of pros came in and taught these kids who don't know how to play. And I got to meet her and play with her, and I got to spend a week or 2 with her.
Oh, wow. Did you learn a few things?
Yeah.
You got a two-handed backhand?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Right. I have to think so. Well, that's great. So do you like watching pickleball?
Yeah, I love watching pickleball.
Do you
I'm learning.
do you like to beat up on the older people?
Yeah.
Well, I think your secret weapon, I'll have to take you to the public courts, right, out there. So what do you like most about pickleball?
Just getting out there and learning from other people that are better than me, and having a bunch of fun.
That's it. Fun is the key word, right? Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Well, you've got a great dad, a great family, and good luck, because I think you're going to be a star someday.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Any other questions out there? We got one back here? Yeah. Go ahead.
That's hard to follow, but I've got an AI question. With the technology like Swing Vision and everything that we have today, and the importance of being able to rate players, but just the logistical difficulty of having duper coaches, that kind of thing, have any clubs, or have you looked at technology using AI to be able to record somebody just playing and use that to try to self-rate them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. So no, I have not had that question, but given what I know just in working with some of the different technology, the different formats out there like video, I think being able to do that is probably not far away. I was just having a conversation last night with a friend of ours She actually was talking about, she's more in the fashion side, how they were able to use AI where they were, to create the design and everything and have something made where before they were having to have models involved. And I feel like, if that's already where it is, and video generation is where it is, and the ability for it to read everything is where it is, my thought is that's really not far away and could be a very interesting business concept, honestly. Yeah, so, yeah.
How about AI for Hawkeye? Can we get AI to call the lines? I mean, that's the biggest. We had a question last session about in regards to for TV and like tennis. I mean, very expensive for Hawkeye.
Well, I think there is a system called in-out that was put together for tennis, and you put it on the net post, and it does a little scan of the court, and if you hit a ball, if it's in, it was green. If it's out, it's red.
Oh yeah, I heard about
and
that.
It's really, and they had a beta version for pickleball, and I told Byron long ago at the APP, I said, the first tour that comes out with that, I think, is going to be the leader. And I think I don't think anyone ever went forward with it, but I think it was it's a huge opportunity because I think you're right. I think pros calling their own lines for lots of money is ridiculous. Sometimes your vision is askew because, there may be a few more dollars on the line. I hate to say that, but, we wished it out rather than we saw it out.
Right.
So.
Yeah, championship point for a few bucks.
But I think that gentleman's question is absolutely phenomenal. I think it's going to make the game so much easier because I don't know if anyone here has a facility or all that. I know at my facility we have a Tuesday night and you have to be a 4-0. And if you're not a 4-0, you can't play. And anyone who has a facility like that, if the 3-8s come in and they're so mad at you, like, well, I'm a 4-0 and I can beat Bill, Susie, and Johnny over there, and I have, but you don't let me play. Having a system that rates them and takes it out of it makes it more objective and less subjective rather than who rates them. We had a problem in the villages. People were giving ratings because they took lessons with them. So, of course, they rated them higher. I think that could be something that really puts us in the right direction in pickleball, and it takes the person out of it and just lets it become more of that computer. I think you see it in the tennis world. They don't have line judges anymore. Right. They all agree to if it's in, it's in. If it's out, it's out. So something of that nature is huge.
Yeah, the problem you just described, we have many organizations that have that same problem where they say players think they're one rating and they're not. And somebody, maybe this pro rate, was the one who evaluated them versus the other one. So I 100% agree with you. If you can just take that out and make it a system that's across the board the same, it would be amazing, especially for that particular problem. I think that multiple organizations face the same thing.
Any other questions? If you're wondering what this American flag here, this is all pickleballs. This is an artist, my good friend Fernando, his artist painted this. He's a pickleball enthusiast, but those are all original pickleballs. I don't think they're BIOBALLs, but we can maybe change those out. But that's the American flag, and there's paddles embedded into the painting. You come up and look at it close. It's a one of a kind, unbelievable. You see all the artwork around here. It's at Fernando's art gallery. And he's donating this, and what I want to do tonight, I want to raise money for Dave's Little Dragons. Okay? So he's selling $20 raffle tickets, or 6 for $100, and Sunday night, we're going to auction this off the next 3 days. Sunday night, we're going to give this away. It's a $10,000 painting in his gallery. But we want to raise money. We're going to do it for the veterans. I'm doing a fundraiser for our awards for our Veterans Pickleball Association. But I really want to help the youth. I've got 5 kids myself, and I went through all the travel. I got a ballerina that I put through travel. I put this, and I believe it. I know the hard work it is to raise your kids and to be able to have them in something that's so positive and so good and healthy as pickleball is right now. My kids are all playing pickleball now. They're not kids, but they're beating me up. But so I think it's such a great mission. I want to really push it in Florida. So Dave, I want to try to raise some money for you, for your travel team, so we can have your daughter, traveling out there all over and your team, get that van.
Thank you.
So let's see what we can do as a community.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Carl. You know, it takes special people like you to do this for the youth, and thank you so much, very much, for donating that and helping out the cause. You know, I mean, that's something that's near and dear, like I said earlier. You know, my daughter came to me 2 years ago, and this is like, Dad, you're always traveling, you're always going, you know, you're always going. I want to go with you, and I go, honey, I'm working. You know, I'm not going on vacation. And she says, how do I get to go with you? And I said, well, you better start learning how to play pickleball and enter these tournaments. And here's our first trip together, and she's playing downstairs in the tournament, and you know, she put in the work and effort to get to it where she can do it. So
That's awesome.
You know, this is why. But thank you so much, Carl. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, brother. Thank you. Thank you for your work.
God bless you.
So $20. See Fernando. He's going to record your information out there, and we'll put you into the drawing. And take a picture. That thing is beautiful. I mean, that's just an unbelievable American flag there. Pickleball, one of a kind, seen it like that. So thanks to Fernando, and he's got other paintings out there as well. And we're raising money for the veterans, but this one I want to donate strictly for the youth, because what touched me throughout the day today was just where we have to grow as a pickleball community to get the sport in the Olympics, and for our next generation coming up, when we're long gone, the legacy we can leave behind is with our kids, and they're going to be up here standing on here, and the sport will be in the Olympics. When you visualize seeing your daughter playing in the Olympics someday, wouldn't that be awesome?
You know, and that's another thing. You know, I don't know how many people have been downstairs or been through the show. I've only seen, if it's a handful of kids here, I'd be surprised. You know, I mean, I think everybody should be bringing their kids and showing them the exposure downstairs and letting them see the news technology, because, you know, my daughter has been floating around talking to everybody downstairs, and I have to buy another suitcase for all the stuff that she got given to her. But I mean, you know, as grown adults, yeah, this is great. But I mean, these kids are what the future is, and I think that, you know, I would love to see the next convention to have, you know, a lot more kids here. And, you know, we'll do our Little Dragons. We'll try to be able to help you. I know we talked about trying to help with the tournament, and it just didn't work out, but, you know, I'll make a vow that next year we'll definitely do a junior tournament, and we'll get John recruiting. John will come down and teach, and we'll do a kids clinic, and we'll make it good. And if any of you guys got kids, I hope I see them next year.
Yeah, I think Hurricane Tyra Black's coming by tomorrow. She did a clinic for us last year. And so I think we'll see a lot more. We do have a lot more kids on the weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a very busy day down on the expo floor. Today was a lot busier than normally on Fridays. This is 3 days, first time we did 3 days here. So that's going to be, I think it's going to be buzzing big time tomorrow and Sunday. The expo's open till Sunday also. I know we got a full day here tomorrow, so the people here, you haven't had a lot of time to spend on the floor. If you're here through Sunday, hopefully Sunday you have all day, because we'll wrap up tomorrow. We'll start again tomorrow with breakfast, courtesy of Ralle at 8 o'clock, a little networking. And this is all, like in Vegas last year was our first event. We had more deals written and more people saying, I finally got to meet the people I've been talking to over the phone or email for years, face to face. You know, we lose that face-to-face contact in these days. It's all, you know, Zoom calls and, you know, phone calls and emails and busy schedules. But you get a chance here to sit down with somebody and actually talk.